delay. We had a little bit of technical challenge this morning, everybody. I'm Coach Lorri Lown with Team Wilpers Cycling, and with me today is Maggie Craig. Where are you located, Maggie?
I am in San Antonio, Texas, actually in the in San Antonio, but in the Texas Hill Country. So I'm actually
Oh,
near New Braunfels, Spring Branch area. So, and it's really cold. It's cold today.
yeah, it's cold today here too. It is. I'm in Northern California, and the sun is shining, but it's deceptive. It's cold for us is like 60 or 50, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
understand that, right?
Well, I
All the people in New
understand.
York are like, "Oh my goodness, you're all soft," but that's okay. Um, Anyways, Maggie, tell us your Peloton story. So Maggie is one of our group leads. Which group are you with, Maggie?
The Cranberry Crushers.
Best name. I love that one.
Yeah.
Um, Brian picked that name. So, anyways, tell us your Peloton story.
So my Peloton journey started December 2018, in which this month is my anniversary. So it's 6 years this month.
Nice.
And I was actually gifted the bike. It was a surprise. So anyway, my first ride was with Ali Love, and I was like, "What am I doing? This is hard." It was 30 minutes, and I was like, "Me? I find something difficult."
Yeah.
And so yeah, I started with theme rides and stayed with theme rides for the longest time, and stayed with Ali. I mean, I was very loyal to Ali Love. I would drop off my son at school, and I told him I'm dropping you off early. I got to be home for this live ride. I'm sorry. And because I'm very meticulous with time, my time is very important to me. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get up at this time. I'll be ready to drop you off, and I'm on the live, and then into work, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way it started in 2018, and then eventually I found Power Zone through some other friends that I made in the Ali Love group, in the Love Squad. And they're like, why don't you just join us? Which was the alpacas, right?
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll join the team. And I did the Power Zone rides, and I was like, okay, well, this is something new. Did I follow the instructor cues? No. I was like, what am I doing? I'm here. It's a good time. The playlists are good. But yeah, that's the way it started for me. And then Homecoming came along, Homecoming
Oh, yeah.
2019. And I said, I'm going. And I was like, I'm just going to go. Right. So I don't know what I was getting into. I don't know who I was going to meet. So I was there. And guess who the band was playing? It was Beck.
Oh, no way. So, what is
Um,
Homecoming? Because they haven't done it in a while since the pandemic, I think. So,
so
what was Homecoming?
they had rides, different rides. You had to, of course, get into the rides, which I got into Ali Love rides. They had tread classes going. They did a run. I know there was a run that happened. I didn't get into those. I just wanted to be with Ali.
Yeah.
Um,
Now,
I
does
did go
Ellie
to.
Love know that you're obsessed with her?
I don't know. Maybe she does.
She will now. This is going out for the public. So,
I
hi,
did
Ellie.
meet her. I went to one of her cocktail parties that she would have. So I said, well, I'm just going to go. And I met new people. I met Allie. I met her now husband. I met her sister. It was a great time. And then there comes Saturday, right? And then we go into the homecoming where, all the Peloton instructors are there. And it was a surprise, supposedly, this Beck thing. I don't know. I was like, okay, wow, okay, I'm here. And they did have cocktails at they had mezzanines, right? There was two different mezzanines or something. I can't remember the place we were at, but it was in Manhattan. So, but it was amazing. You really, Peloton Homecoming is a homecoming we get together, and it was by the members, created by the members.
Oh.
So, and it was a great time. I wish they would bring that back.
Yeah, well, Peloton was a very different place in 2019. You could just walk into the studio and take a class versus, having to do the lottery at noon on Tuesdays or Thursdays or whenever it is.
And
now.
it was in the old studio. That's where I had my first Peloton rides. I was like, what is this new studio? Oh, which I did sign up for Homecoming, post COVID. And I was like, okay, I'm going. I'm going to go. I'm in. And then COVID happened, and then it's like everything was canceled.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So that's how it all began.
That's how it all started, my Peloton journey. And then, people would talk about the tread and, And then the
Yeah.
Bike Plus came along, and I said, I need this bike. I have to have this bike. And I was like, but do I really need it? Let me just continue my training, right? And see where I go. This Power Zone thing is new to me, which I didn't meet Matt, but Matt passed right by me.
Oh,
During that whole coming weekend.
right.
He was getting ready for his ride. And I was like, well, who's this? Right.
Oh.
Everybody's like, Matt, right? And I was like, okay, so this is Matt.
Yeah.
Right. I'm here for Allie. And they're like, okay, like we already know you're here for Allie. But that was my first, like, not interaction, but the first time I saw Matt. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay. And then I started seeing Matt in the Power Zone classes. I said, so this is the Matt. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a
Yeah. So
very
anyway,
different place. So for people who are new to Peloton, that it used to be more of a club, and the at-home fitness
yeah,
was very different. And now for many folks, that's all that there is the at-home aspect. So yeah,
right.
yeah. So you started riding Power Zones. And how'd you find Team Wilpers?
So Team Wilpers, I saw it on the leaderboard, right? I saw
Yeah.
the hashtag, and I was like, what is this Team Wilpers? Right. And then I joined another group, the road group, the road bike group. And I think you're a
Oh,
part of that group
Peloton
too.
Road Riders. Yeah.
Yes. And they were talking about Team Wilpers. I was like, what is this? Right. Let me take a look. So then I joined the group, and I was like, well, here I am.
Yeah.
What now?
So do you ride
What's
outside
going to
as well,
happen?
Maggie?
I don't ride outside, but growing up, I did. I
Yeah.
did used to ride a lot outside growing up. It's something that I want to pursue, but I
Oh,
just
good.
haven't had the time to. So I need to set
Yeah.
aside some time
Yeah.
and just go and do a clinic at it's called Britain's Bicycles.
Oh, I know
I was
Britton's.
there. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and he's so sweet, and his wife is a huge Peloton
Oh, nice.
rider fan. Everything. Yes. So I was like, I really need to sign up for a clinic. He's like, I'm right here. Tell me
Yeah.
when you're ready.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, but no, as of right now, no, I don't ride outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you found the Peloton Road Riders group, which is interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
for those
And
of you who don't know, there is a Peloton Road Riders group. They meet up a couple of times a year, typically at the Hincapi Gran Fondos, but they've done
yeah,
other rides and events as well. And they're a great group. They have a cycling kit. And
there's
um, yeah.
oh, there is a Cervelo group too, because I like the is it Cervelo? The Cervelo
Cervelo,
bikes?
yeah.
Yeah, I love those bikes. So
Oh,
I'm in that
awesome.
group too, learning about the bike. I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I here? I need to learn about it. I can't just get on that bike.
Which is interesting. So
Yeah.
my MBA, believe it or not, is in gender relations. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I've observed about men and women when they start something new, because we're very different in the way we learn and the way we participate in activities and how
Mhm.
we embrace community. You notice all the ladies are here today. I should say hello to Caitlin and Amy and Kristen and Raquel. Good morning, everybody. And Caitlin, I'm sorry, it's 26 degrees. Oh my God. Um, anyways, yes, I feel for you. Train inside or get a fat bike and train outside. But when for example, when a woman wants to start bike racing, she will do a lot of research, just like you're talking about. She will
Mhm.
research online, she'll spectate races online, in person, she'll take a clinic, she'll hire a coach, she'll do all these things to prepare to begin.
Yeah.
Versus men buy a license and they jump in and they race. That's all they do. And which is interesting because we categorize racers based on their experience level and
Mhm.
their accomplishments. And in that category system, Cat 5 is the entry level category, and we call them the crash fives because what they do is they learn by
Oh.
doing. So men learn by doing, women learn by learning. It's a very different process. I actually, being a woman, I like the process that we have to learn. And I feel like the outcome long term is probably better, but it oftentimes delays us too. It's like we want to get ready. We want to be fit enough to go to the gym. Oh, come on, right? We know that that's
Right.
not
You just gotta,
necessary.
yeah.
Yeah,
You just gotta
exactly.
jump in. You just gotta do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's like,
So,
okay, because if you don't, you're never gonna do it. You won't.
right. So that's my advice to you, Maggie. You need to get a bike. You need to do it. Set a deadline. So, um, well, cool. And thank you for leading a group this year. This has been a really fun,
Yeah.
different challenge. And I've really enjoyed watching the small groups interact with each other. I think that's added a really awesome element to what we're doing in this challenge. So, and you were just in the studio, right, Maggie?
Yes, I was for the global 120-minute
Wow,
ride.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was
So
amazing. It was just
so
amazing.
tell us the backstory. Did anybody, like, pass out or have a mechanical, or was there any drama behind the scenes?
Nobody passed out.
Good.
They did, yeah. So that was a plus. Everybody was having a good time. The little screen in the back, that's where we could see the other instructors.
Yeah.
There's a little monitor.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so we did get to see, was it Hannah Frankson and of course my Eric and Olivia and who else did Ben? Ben was
right.
there. Yeah, so we did. I'm missing some. Am I missing somebody? But anyway, there was a screen and we got to see them, as we were
Ah,
writing. I mean, we just
okay.
had to, take a turn around and look, but
Yeah.
they were there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, they did pass out a banana. I don't eat during long rides. If I need something, what I
Ah,
did was brought some organic honey, the
yeah,
little travel pouches. So, or I'll use a gel.
yeah.
So yeah, and
Not the
banana.
solids.
I mean,
Yeah.
no.
I'll do a banana before I get up because, it's interesting. A lot of people will train fasted in the mornings, and it's not ideal for women. It has a pretty negative impact on our cortisol curve. And so typically what I want to do is have a little boost of sugar basically before I get on the bike, and I'll do a
The
banana
sugar.
then. Yeah. Just
Yes.
to get the cortisol leveled out. But yes, Amy, you got to ride there too. Amy did 3
Amy was
rides
there, and
that
I got to
weekend.
meet
I
Amy.
know, which is
Yeah.
so cool. Did you 2 know you were each gonna ride? Or was it a
No,
surprise when you got there?
it was a surprise, and we did the CVV ride, that Power Zone
That
ride in Zone 6, 2 minutes. But I don't know how many times Amy would know, but I was like, wow. And
Yeah,
we got to that was my first time meeting CVV, right? And I was
right.
like, wow. He's like, how did you like it? I said, Zone 6.
Yeah,
I said, what? And I said, but I told him it was awesome. It was an awesome ride.
yeah.
It was, you had to push hard through it. Some people came out of it and said, I didn't talk about the sweat in the 120
Right.
minute.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was, there was puddles. I was like, what is this? Right.
Yeah,
So it is true. It is true. If you go in studio, there was a mess on the floor.
yeah.
And I was like, my bike didn't have anything because that's me. They
You
know
don't sweat?
minimal sweat. There was sweat, but
Good
I
for
was like,
you.
what's going
Yeah.
on here? But I was like, so we're getting off the bike, and there was there was puddles around my bike.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway, the
Lake
bike was
Wilpers.
on.
I had a lake under my bike when I rode in studio, and there was a guy, and I haven't seen him in classes in a while, but he used to ride pretty often, and he would wear a sweatsuit. And, for some reason, I think it's
Oh,
Scary Man, right? Um, and
I
he was
and he
there,
wears a hoodie.
yeah, he wears a hoodie,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "How crazy is that?" We temperature regulation is super important for training. We should not people think that the more you sweat, the hotter you are, the better the workout is, and it's like, no, that's really not true. You wanna regulate your temperature. So we think more, harder, hotter, all those things are better, and they're not. We need to control all of that. So, yes, the hoodie
Right.
man. I
And
know.
that's why I was going to bring up the Zone 6, and somebody came out of that class and said, "Wow, I was sweating so much more." And I said, because we were
Oh,
doing Zone 6 intervals. I mean, we were
yeah,
pushing hard compared
yeah,
to Zone 3 for, I
yeah,
think it was 10, 12. I said, that's endurance. We
yeah,
were pushing Zone 6,
yeah,
2 minutes apiece. That, yeah, you're going to sweat. You're going to
yeah.
drip.
So, well, that's awesome. Yeah, and yes, it's hot in that studio no matter what. And each of the instructors has their own cues to the crew to get the fans turned on. I know Matt uses something about the sound system, and then
Oh,
they're supposed to turn the fans on. But yeah,
I will
um,
tell you the ride that I did this morning, you were in studio. I saw you.
oh, I hate that class. Um, I know people tell me that, and that was the first time I met Matt in
Oh,
person.
okay.
So I had no idea who Matt Wilpers was, and he reached out to me in it must have been August of 2020, and I had been fitting bikes at that point for over 20 years, and I had a Peloton at my bike fit studio, and I had just gotten that, and he was trying to hire bike fitters, and at that point, he had 5 men who were working for him, and I was his first woman hire, but I didn't know who he was. So I got this email and it said, "Hey, I'm putting together this team of bike fitters, Peloton, blah, blah, blah." And I didn't ride Peloton at the time, so I didn't know. And I Googled him and I was like, "Oh, I guess this is legit, not just a random." I get a lot of spam, scam coaching emails, "Come coach our soccer team in Mexico." I'm like, "Yeah, right. Come on." But anyways, we hadn't met in person. And so that would have been March of 2022. And um, we were going to New York to shoot a bunch of videos, and it was a very last minute trip. So all the bike fitters came in, and I was like, "Matt, can I take your class?" So he knew I was going to be there, but we hadn't met in advance. And as you know, if you've been in the studio, the instructors
Yeah.
come out down this little set of stairs, and most of them work
Yes.
their way around the room and talk to everybody and give shout outs and that kind of thing. And he worked his way around the row, and I was at the last bike
Yeah.
in the
Good.
front row. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't see me. But I knew he didn't see me. And he was shocked. He was like, "Lorri," he gave me a big hug
Yeah.
and gave me a couple shout outs,
That's
which
nice. And he
was
gave you a
awesome.
shout out. Yeah. I was like,
I
there's
know.
Coach Lorri. Yeah.
I know. But what's interesting is, was coming back from a couple surgeries. I was very chubby, and I just felt like I was the poster child for, red-faced, chubby, menopausal women all over the world. I'm
Oh,
wearing a sports bra and a pair of bibs, and
you
everybody's
have your
cute, and they
bib.
have their
Yeah.
makeup and their hair done, and they changed clothes before taking photos after the class and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, whatever, I'm working out." So
Yeah.
yes, it was fun, and I've had the opportunity to meet Matt a couple other times as well now, but yeah, um, it's different. He's very much the same in person as he is in our Zoom meetings and running our company, and it's been great. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
He's very friendly. And another
anyways,
thing I would say, when they go in studio, there's some lockers there where you line up
yeah.
to meet and greet. You could put a pair of shoes in there. If you want to change out your shoes, put some shoes in there, have them ready, put the code in, be done.
I
Just some
know.
tips.
It was funny though, because I'm trained as an athlete and I'm not a girly girl. And I remember being in the locker room prior to the class, and people are like doing their hair and checking makeup and all of these things. And I'm like, "Really? It's a class." And it was a long class. I think it was a 75-minute class. So, anyways, Richard, thanks for joining the ladies. I'm like, "We got all the girls today." 26 in Nashville. Oh, yeah. We have the same thing. When our bike's in the garage in California, it's pretty chilly too, but we still use fans. But anyway, speaking of hard classes in Zone 6, my shout out this week is everybody who has completed the Sam Yo ride. Yeah, it was pretty hard, wasn't it? I'm seeing all the chatter on the Facebook group about how hard that class was, or "I don't think I can do this class. I need someone's support." Then I saw that in one of the chats. I was like, "Yay!" And folks were like, "I'll ride with you." So that was good. Um, Maggie sent me a bunch of questions. So when I have a guest on, I ask them what they want to talk about. And Maggie's topic was um, similar to another topic we've been doing. Yes. Okay, Kristen, you can brush your hair. That's good. Right. I know.
Yes.
Well, the other thing, I had very long hair at the time, and the other thing is, like, I have a little ponytail, and I was like, I always put my hair up, and it doesn't look
Just
all
put it
that
up.
awesome.
Yeah.
I know, but I can't make a messy bun, and I can't do all these things. I just, I'm used to working out alone. But anyways, Maggie wanted to talk about the mental aspects of training, and I think that's really good. It's funny because I think often about motivation versus discipline, and I'm going to admit right now, I am not a motivated person. Maggie is. If you've seen Maggie's stacks, we'll talk about Maggie and her stacks, but I am definitely not motivated, but I am disciplined. And that, I think, has been why I've been successful as an athlete, is when I have a plan, I will do the plan. This is My therapist likes this conversation too, because it tells you a lot about me and my personality. I'm very OCD, and I'm going to check the boxes off, just like many of you. But if I don't have boxes to check, if I'm left to my own accord, man, I'll sit on the couch and eat bonbons or play video games.
Sounds good.
Or on the flip side, I'll go out and do a 10-hour ride that has no purpose whatsoever, just to go ride my bike. So, yeah. So I would say, when I think about motivation versus discipline, I am not motivated, and I'm back on my training plan. I'm so happy. as of Monday, I'm back on a plan because I've been left to my own accord since mid-September, since I raced nationals, and it's been, oh, let's go
Oh,
run. And I will say the one good thing that I've done is I have been lifting, and the change in my body already after 9 weeks, I think, of strength work has been amazing, and how my body
yeah.
functions. I've opened up my shoulders, my cyclist shoulders. I can now
Like
get a
this.
bar behind
Yes.
my back. I was like, "Look at that."
Awesome.
I know, I
That's
couldn't before.
awesome.
So we've opened things up and strengthened things, and I'm starting to
Here.
lift some heavy weights and not feeling disgusted after every time I lift. Because, well, when you first start and your body's adapting and all those connective tissues are
So,
getting used to the
yes.
load, it's like, wow, you're sore all the time. And so I like to think that my plan was just to do strength for a few months, and that's kind of what I did. A little bit of riding, a little bit of running, and now I'm back on a plan, and I'm so thankful. So, but Maggie, you seem to be very motivated. Talk to me about your motivation. How do you determine what you do every day? Why do you do what you do?
So for me, it's all about consistency, and my
Yeah.
time is very valuable. So when I say I'm meticulous about time, I don't know what it is about time. Every
Yeah.
minute, every second, right? So if I like this morning, I timed it, right? You can go 2 or 3 weeks back, right? And here we are this week, and it's
Yeah.
Friday, and I'm in the PZ challenge too. And I said, oh,
Mhm.
I have a 75 minute, so I've got to be up by 3:30 or 3:45, right? Give myself 15 minutes to get ready, right? Maybe 20 because of my asthma, right? I've got to,
Yeah.
maybe I need some tea, right? Or
Huh.
something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to face when I get up. So I give myself about 20 minutes and then I time it. So I was on the other group ride at 6. That was a Hidden Hills. I haven't done my write up yet. Okay. I haven't done it yet. So I was like, okay, so I do a 75 minute, that's an hour and another 15. It'll give me another 15 minutes to get ready for the next ride. Perfect. Right. So I've got to be on that bike by 4:30, the latest 4:40, right? In the morning. And so that's how I'm planning it. And sometimes I can go 2 weeks back, the day of. Yesterday I didn't plan, and I'm going to tell you what happened with yesterday. So today, for today's rides, I planned, and I was like, okay, I'll finish this one, change, and then get on this ride, right?
Mhm.
Which I did. It worked out perfect, right? Just the way I wanted it to. It doesn't always happen that way. Yesterday, I was like, wait a minute, don't I have a team ride? The team Wilpers? What am I doing? Why am I on this tread class with Coach Wilpers? Oh, because it's
Oops.
live and it's my first one, right? Or first progression run, right? I was like, I got to be on that one. Or do
Yeah.
I? Do I? Yes, right. So I'm over here. There's a battle, right? And we do that. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
There's a battle. Should I go? Should I do it? Just do it. So
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to do the run. I'm going to warm up. I'll do it at my own pace. If I have to slow down, it doesn't matter. I'm warming up for this San Yo. I looked at that right. I was like, oh, I was
Yeah,
like,
we
that
need
is
some warm up
not.
for Samuel.
Yes, I was like, and then I had to coach myself. And this is what I do.
Uh,
This is my motivation. I coach myself. I said, Maggie, you got this. What are you
yeah.
worried about? It's zone 5. You did zone 6 with CVV in studio. What it was like, okay, just do it. Just go in there. So I'm like, do. And then he's like, zone 5. What? Already? We're
I
already going into zone 5. I said, did he say, that's why I was saying in the chat, did he say 4, 5 minutes, 3? What? Wait, right? I was like, wait. And it happens to me too. So I know it happens to others. They're like, wait a minute, I thought this was, and then you just do it. You got to
yeah.
just let yourself go. And if you zone out, you zone out, but you're listening to the cues. You're
Yeah.
still listening to the instructor cues. So that's what keeps me motivated. I have to coach myself.
Yeah.
I have to tell myself it's self, right? Self
Mhm.
control, self discipline. I have to be up the latest 4:30.
So
I
I'm one of
have.
those people that I like to wake up with the sun. So even for this podcast, I like to give
Mhm.
myself a 2 hour window before I have to like speak to a human. Have some coffee, get my, there's some things I'll do for work in the morning. And so I get up at 6 on a day when I have to do an 8 a.m. for whatever reason. I have a lot of 8 a.m.s, it seems, and it's dark out. And it kills me because I set an alarm and I wake up before my alarm, which is, a lot of us do, and subconsciously we have an understanding of what time it
Yes.
is, but
Mhm.
it's still really hard. It's like I don't wanna turn a light on. I just it's dark, and it doesn't get
And then
light here until later,
so then
but
I ask myself, right, those things, right? So ask yourself, why what how did I get to this point?
well, how
What
did you
should
get to this point, Maggie?
right? Okay. So for me, right, growing up, I had to be up at 4 anyway in the morning
Yeah.
because we lived out in the ranch and the bus was there by 6 o'clock,
Ah,
sometimes 5:30. I had to get on that bus. If I didn't get on that bus, that's not good.
yeah,
So I had to be ready to go. Did I want to get up at 4? Sometimes no. But my
yeah,
mother, every morning I had breakfast made.
nice.
If mother did not make breakfast, it's because you were being rude and disrespectful. And yeah, so you wouldn't get any breakfast. And we're like, okay, no
That
breakfast.
wouldn't fly these days.
No.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
So
that's how it started for me. And it
yeah.
just I can't get out
Which
of
is
it.
interesting too, because a lot of folks who come to the Peloton world or come to fitness in general later in life, they don't have the discipline in fitness or sport that other people who participated in sports did. You think of the kids that go ice skating at 5 in the morning every morning and or rowing or that kind of thing. And a lot of people don't find fitness until their 20s or their 30s or even later in
Mhm.
life. And so learning to create new habits can be very hard, whatever it is. So let me ask you, Maggie, are you disciplined in all areas of your life?
Yes, it has to be that way.
Yeah.
There has to be a set routine. If that routine is disrupted, okay, Maggie's got to go back and do homework.
Okay.
Something happened. Yeah. Every day if there's a disruption, it's like, wait a minute. Okay, let's go back and study this. What
Yeah.
what didn't I do or what should I have done?
Yeah.
Right? So it's a constant battle. And when we find that
Right.
balance is going to change. Okay,
Yeah.
oh, I found it. I found it. Great. And then the disruption happens. Okay, so now we got to go back to square one,
Yeah.
right? And it's okay. It
Hmm.
happens. It's a
Yeah.
part of life. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because whenever I've had a disruptor in my life and I think of moving, I've done a lot of moving lately. And that's a big one for me,
Yeah.
riding a bike, because you have to figure out where to ride. When you move somewhere to a new area, I don't have my 2 hour flat route or
Right.
my 2 hour hilly route or my whatever. And so I have to figure it out again. And so I've tried to make fitness the constant and not let it disrupt me because I've seen that pattern in the past and
Yeah.
figure out the ways to do. And sometimes it does lead me to riding inside versus outside for a while until I figure it out. But yeah, I'm also not disciplined in the rest of my life. I'm like, I'm a nightmare, which is why I'm working on all these things. But um, yeah, I think it's challenging for a lot of people. And like I said, not everybody has the motivation. We have to think about our why, right? So Maggie asked me about
Mhm.
what's your why? Why do we do these things? And for a lot of people, I think, especially as we age, it's about health. For me, strength is about just aging well. And I regret
Yes.
not strength training year round because I'm like, I have felt better in the last month after the initial shock of strength training wore off than I have in years. Just physically better. All the little aches and pains that I normally have reduced or eliminated. And oh yeah, Richard asked a question: am I using a specific strength train plan? Richard, I hired a strength coach because I'm not motivated, and I also have um, acquired some phobias as I've aged. Like going into a gym seemed intimidating to me. So even though I have all the stuff here and I could do a Peloton strength program, I don't do it. I hired a strength coach at the gym and I meet with her. And we finally got to the
Nice.
point where I'm going in on my own on other days of the week. So she writes my plan for me. And I'm still working with her once or twice a week. But yeah, so I know me, and I had to do that to make it work. And now I feel like, okay, I could keep going.
Right.
And yeah, but she has written a plan specifically for me. I have a bunch of orthopedic issues and biomechanical issues. So doing things differently for me made sense. And also specific for me as an endurance cyclist. So yeah. Although I think most general plans work well. But yeah. Anyways.
Well, and
Um,
Raquel mentioned sleep. I'm in
Yeah.
bed the latest. If it's late, it's 9:30. And that's too late for me. I need to be in bed by 8:30,
Yeah.
especially if I'm getting up at 3:30, 3:45.
Right. Yeah.
We do need that rest. Some people need the rest, some don't. If I get 6 hours of rest, it's going to be rough for Maggie.
Yeah.
But I'm ready. But
Mhm.
still, I could have used the other 2 or hour and a half.
Yeah. And it's interesting
Yeah.
because everyone always uses the number 8 as our sleep number, and definitely anywhere between 7 and 10, um, is kind of the sweet spot for sleep. And why is sleep so important? It's when our body restores everything, our brain, our muscles,
Yeah.
our metabolic systems.
Yes.
So sleep is hugely important. If you're trying to lose weight, sleep more. I know that sounds
Sleep.
counterintuitive, but that's
The
the way our body
cortisol
works.
levels. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and keep a consistent sleep pattern. I lost my sleep for about a year after I did an ultra endurance race. And then, menopause happened and it was like, woohoo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I worked really hard. I followed a protocol by a man named Sean Stevenson, which was a very
Okay.
easy kind of check off to do list. But basically, it's like you got to get up. If you want to fall asleep at night, you got to get up early
Yeah.
and you got to get outside right away and get
Yeah.
some sunlight, preferably barefoot. But, and then other things like dark room, cold room, quiet room, all of that. And it took a while, but I have great sleep hygiene now and I love sleeping. I'm
That's
like,
great. Yeah, I know. It's like we mature, right? People say we age. I'm getting old. I said, okay, as you mature, every day our body is changing.
oh yeah,
Every day. And it's like, yesterday I was like this. Yeah, but it's today.
yeah,
Something changed.
yeah,
And it's okay. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to happen,
yeah.
right? I just don't, people just get so, I don't know, overwhelmed by that. Just let it go. Let the body do its thing.
How
I
old are
was
you,
like,
Maggie?
okay. How old? I'm
What
in my
decade are you in?
40s.
Okay.
I'm in my 40s. Yeah.
I'm 59 and I'm not ready to let it go. Let me tell you. I'm like,
You're still
whoa,
young.
60s coming,
Yeah.
60s coming. It's crazy. Yes. Caitlin, I think that is Sean the podcaster. I found him, it was a trickle down from another health influencer prior to the days of podcasts, really. There weren't a lot of podcasts out, but I found his book that way. And yes, I think he is a podcaster now. He has a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, anyways, where were we going with this? I'll have to
Love the
listen to his podcast.
podcast.
Strength specific training programs. Yes. And I wish
Yes.
there were more sport specific conditioning programs. I think, we're starting to see some golf conditioning and some soccer conditioning and some tennis conditioning. And I think all of those will be positive additions. So, um, Miyasa, I have no idea what language that is, but greetings. Anyways, um, what helps us stay balanced? That's an interesting question. Um, Maggie, tell me what you think about that. What keeps you balanced?
So what keeps me balanced is a routine. I
Yeah.
have to have my routine. It has to be in check. And I keep a journal. So I have a fitness
Yeah.
journal and my work journal and
Right.
my personal journal. So if I'm missing something, and even the calendar on the phone, everything is, I said, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What happened to that journal? Where's it at? Right. So then something's off.
Hmm.
So I always say, if Maggie does something that's out of the ordinary, then you need to check up on her,
Yeah.
right? Because there's not that balance that she had is missing, right? So something's missing, right, with me. Now,
Hmm.
no, I'll be like, okay, I didn't do something today. Something is not right, right? Like checks and balances,
Hmm.
right? I gotta figure this out. When I get up in the morning, my workout clothes are ready the night before or for the week. I already have them ready
Hmm.
for the week. What am I going to be wearing? Because there's certain things that I wear for certain rights, certain leggings, even even down to that, right? Even that's important to me, right? That keeps me balanced. My meal plans, right? That's important.
Hmm.
I can't just, okay, I'm going to have this big old dinner, right? Friday night tonight, and just get on a 45-minute power zone and be okay. No,
Yeah.
no. I need something. I'll need some carbs, but not an overload of carbs, right? For
Hmm.
me, that works for me. So that keeps me balanced, right? So my meal plans, my sleep patterns, right? My journals,
Hmm.
my schedules, uh, my work schedule,
Don't
right?
forget
Because that one
laundry.
is,
You're working out
Oh,
so
oh
much, you
yeah.
must have a ton of laundry.
My laundry, so I call it Wash Wednesday. That's what I
Uh-huh.
call it. So I said, oh, it's Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? It's hump day, but it's Wash Wednesday. I
Yeah,
better get some laundry in, right? Because you don't want to spend your weekend doing laundry,
right.
right? So I said, yep, it's time. It's time
So
to put a
you
load in.
develop these systems over time. Yeah, one of the things I've been working on is, and it's very interesting when you do a variety of things for work.
Hmm.
I coach and I fit in
Yeah.
person and I fit virtually, and I have my team Wilpers cycling work,
Hmm.
and I run a cycling club. I do all these different things, and
Yes.
appointments are in my calendar. And for a long time, I didn't put other stuff in there. And I've learned I need to schedule my training. I need to
Hmm.
schedule my meals. I forget about that from time
Yes.
to time
Yeah.
because I'm squeezing things in, and then I have,
Right.
3 hours of clients, and it's like, oh, you did a workout, you need to eat. Um, I've had to learn how to schedule in transition time, and this may resonate with people who were working from home. When we think about, like, when I work in my bike fit studio, I have a commute in my car, and it gives me time to transition from the work state to the home state. But when I work at home, I'm just home, right? There's no transition time. And what I've learned is, in order to change the mode my brain is in and
Hmm.
to be able to calm down, and, I have to give myself like 15 minutes after I've had an appointment of whatever type
Yes.
to transition into whatever the next phase is. And when I don't make that transition, then my brain is just kind of going, 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 going. So that's been another tool of mine. Scheduling in the laundry, the grocery shopping, all the things,
Oh,
because
the
I know,
groceries.
because my calendar, well, I go almost every day. I just, it's not far from me, and I'm able to get fresh food, which is good.
The
But
fresh.
I'm
Yes.
I'm very OCD about my food too. I have certain foods I eat all the time, and I eat them and
Yes.
eat them and eat them, and a year later I'm sick of them, and then I move on to something else. So
Yeah, it's
that's
like, yeah,
me.
you have, I don't know, I get a craving or I have to have that, right? I have to
Yeah,
have those carrots with hummus, right?
yeah,
And then and it'll last for like 3 weeks, right? And then it fades away. And it's
yeah.
like, well, what's next? A donut? Like I had to have a
Oh,
donut yesterday. I had a donut. So
yeah.
because I wanted
Good
it.
job, Maggie. I have right now in my cupboard, I don't remember how many boxes of pancake mix, because a couple years ago, I decided to get a waffle maker. Who knows why? I've never owned a waffle maker in my life. I've never
Ooh,
made
I love
waffles in my life, but my
it.
ex used to make waffles. I was just craving waffles, and I started making every day. I would make waffles with blueberry compote, or waffles with bacon and maple syrup, or and that didn't last very long though. But I got, after I went through the first couple boxes of pancake mix, I ordered a big case of them. And now I have this case of pancake mix up there. And I'm like, oh, I should make
Oh,
a waffle someday.
oh,
But, anyways, yes, as Caitlin said, Peloton strength on non riding days. That's good. I'm
yes.
in a schedule where I'm doing my strength on my quality workout days. So my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. It's a little hard. I have to work on timing of all that, but that's the way it works right now with my schedule and my coach. There are great options for strength, by the way. I should mention that. So there are lots of programs. There are adjacent programs like Hardcore on the Floor as well, which is a great group. Um, Peloton just introduced this week their strength app. So
Yeah.
it's a separate app that you can take to the gym with you. And I want to look at that because at some point I will probably go into maintenance phase for the season and let my coach go. And I think I will look at one of the Peloton strength classes to keep that going. It looks like it's good. So, yes, craving sugar is super normal, right? Keeps our blood sugar levels even. And we need sugar for
Mhm.
exercise, it's our fuel. Yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about next week a little bit. Did you have any other thoughts or questions, by the way, about mental training, Maggie, or the mental aspects of training?
Just that
Or are
the
we
some rights, just you got to get through adversity, right? Whatever it is,
right?
you got to get out of that. I can't do it. I can't, right?
Hmm.
Like growing up, my father would say, "I hate that word. Don't you
Yeah.
ever tell me that you can't," right?
Yeah.
I was like, "But it's very I don't want to hear anymore," right? That's what he would
Yeah.
say. So if once we get past that and be like, "Well, you know what? What? How do I not? How do I know that I can't do it? Haven't even tried."
Yeah.
So just get in there. Just do
Yeah.
it. You know,
Yeah.
and it is what it is, and it might look messy and it might look
Right.
great. You don't
I
know.
love
You
messy
don't know that
graphs.
happen. Yeah.
Which one of the instructor says, "But what if you can?" Is that Christine?
Christine.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's Christine who says, "But what
Yeah.
if you can?" Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I know they each have all their inspirational. I was like, "Oh, I should make a cycling jersey with all the quotes from Peloton instructors," but that would probably turn into a legal battle of some sort, but
Well, well, like Coach
anyway.
Wilpers says, right? Train hard, train smart, train hard, and have fun,
Yeah.
right? And my father would say, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so now what is this? What's going
Right.
on?
Well, uh, but fitness is that way too. When we look at, yes, sorry, I read the comments as I'm talking. When we look at fitness, riding a bike, and I know Brian and I chatted about this one week, economy versus efficiency. You know, the
Mhm.
goal is not to go as hard as I can all the time. The
No,
goal is to conserve my energy and get the result I want for the least amount of work.
right.
It's not about volume and it's not about how hard I go every day. It's about how smart I train. And I think both what Matt says and what your dad says are true.
Hmm.
We
Yeah,
need to
it is.
be wise. It's not, I can make my heart rate go up just by waving my arms. Is that making me a better cyclist? Probably not. Now you're wondering why I'm doing cardio classes in these programs. But yeah. Anyways, um, yeah. So I want to be smarter. I want to, because at the end of the day, if I'm looking for a result, whatever that result might be, and mine happens to be outdoor riding, and I like to win races, well, you don't win races going as hard as you can. You win races
No.
conserving energy and going hard at the right moments. So we have to learn to do that. But Raquel took her question back. Anyways, let's
Okay.
talk about next week. Next week is our last week. Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry to
know.
hear
But it's
that.
okay. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming up next. But so next week, same pattern, but you've got a high volume week. This, what was I thinking? I gave you a really good week, probably because you're going to have a little break after that. So Monday, rest day, 45-minute power zone endurance on Tuesday with Christine. And then we're going to do our cardio and our core. And some of you are actually starting to like it. Um, Thursday, we have another power zone class with Dennis.
Mm.
So we'll do 45 minutes. I know. Can't be harder than Sam's class was, right? Everybody was like, Sam's class was so hard. Friday, it's funny because I always think of Sam as being super chill and super mellow. And I took a class with him in London and he was super chill. But he was hard in this one. So Saturday, this is next week. We've got a 90-minute power zone endurance with Matt. Of course, you can do the live ride. You can do a shorter power zone ride. So for those of you who are not up to 90 minutes, you can definitely do something as a substitute there. And then on Sunday, we're going to do 60 minutes with Sam as an endurance ride. So a longer endurance ride on Sunday and some mobility and some core and a cool down and a stretch. There was a
Oh,
limit of our website, 5 classes in one day. So, and then we're going to have a happy hour. So on Sunday, the 15th, we will not have an athlete briefing next Friday. We won't see
okay.
you next Friday. So take it off your calendar. I will not be there. I'm going to sleep until the sun comes up. But then on Sunday, the 15th, Brian and I are going to host you all on Zoom at 6 o'clock Eastern. So 3 o'clock Pacific. We'll do a bring your own, whatever you want to bring, your chips and your dips and your
Pancakes.
smoothies or your pancakes or your coffee or whatever it is at that time of day. And
Donuts.
we'll just have a little get
Okay.
together to celebrate the end of the challenge and just spend some time together. So I think that's what community is all about. So that's the end of this challenge. And then the next challenge starts on December 30th. So we're going to
December
start right
30th.
before the
Okay.
beginning of the new year. We went back and forth. We are like, do we start on the 5th of January or the 6th or whatever that Monday is? Or do we start on the 30th of December? And we decided we want to start the year on the right foot. I always believe that whatever you do on the first of the year is a good reflection of how your year will go. So if I get on my bike, that tells me it's going to be a good bike year. If I lay on the couch, I'm going to be a lazy bum. So, anyways, we're going to start on the 30th. And if you have holiday plans that you need to modify, I can absolutely help you with that. So But then the next question is, what do I do between the end of this challenge and the beginning of the next challenge? I know. You can do whatever you want. And maybe that means nothing. What I would say, I know, I'm so sad that it's ending next week. Um, Anyways, so what can we do? You could do an FTP test. If you haven't done one, now's a good time. There will be an FTP test in the first week of the next challenge. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. Or maybe you do your power profile test again. Just see how you're doing with that. I will put that up so you can find it. I would say give yourself some unstructured movement, meaning don't be on a plan. Just take a break, move your body, make it your goal to move your body most days of the week. Do what feels good. Take the classes you've been meaning to take that you haven't taken because you've been following a program. There's lots of good stuff that's dropped, including a lot of Christian Vandeveld classes. So for those of you who are fans, he is the newest Power Zone instructor, and he's dropped a bunch of classes. So maybe you just rest and recover. Maybe you've been needing that, especially people like Maggie who do 2 challenges at the same time. What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Maybe you do something completely different. You go ski, or you go hike, or you go Christmas shop, or whatever it is you do. Do something outside, do something inside, but you'll have a little bit of a break to give yourself a breather and do the other things that you haven't been doing. Or you go back and take another class again, or take another week of a challenge again, and just keep moving. But I would say don't completely take 2 weeks off. Try to move, try to stretch, try to strengthen, build a new habit, right? Richard, this may be the time to start your strength habit between challenges. That was my goal. Exactly. My goal in doing strength this fall was to make it a habit that I could sustain during my training season once training started. And I'm like, I'm there. I did it. That was my goal, even though it felt like I was aimlessly wandering at the time, but I did it. So, anyways, that's what we do between now and then. Like I said, no athlete briefing next week. We'll have a happy hour on Sunday, and I think that's it. And knock on wood, you heard it here first. We may have our new training platform. We should be seeing it this week. And it should be available for the next challenge. So no more of this log into the Team Wilpers site, check things off, do a Google poll, all these things. We should have everything. Hopefully, cross your fingers, everybody. But it looks like we're on track. So that's awesome. We've been working hard behind the scenes on that.
So we need to do the poll, right, for week 5 and week 6.
Yeah. Keep doing your polls.
Okay.
And we really, really appreciate that. I know it's one extra step. It definitely has given us a lot of information. And we appreciate it very, very much. So thank you. I know that process isn't automatic yet. But yeah, anyways. I know, Kristen, I'm super excited too. I think y'all are going to love what we're doing. And it's been a long time coming. I think we just launched our Run app too, or we're going to launch the Run app soon. So yeah, we've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and you all have helped us get there by doing these challenges at this point. So it's great. I think that's it. Wow, Maggie. Thank you.
I forgot to mention I got the Tread Plus. I did get.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was on yesterday. I said, I got to get on that thing. Look at it. And I had to have it in my room. It's in the room, looking outside, right? The windows, those 3 windows. And I was like, gorgeous. I could see the wildlife if I want to. Or I can listen to the instructor cues.
Right. Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you everybody for showing up, for joining us. And it's been fun doing these briefings and having you all live with us. And Maggie, thank you for being a gracious guest today. I appreciated getting to know you a little more. So
thank you so much, Coach. And thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.